Hello and welcome back to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more F1 Manager 2022. So we're getting towards the halfway mark of our season now. Next track is Silverstone. That's round 10 of 22. Mixed results in the last race, I think it's fair to say. Ricciardo did fairly well and Norris not so much, but we're sitting pretty, for us really, in fourth place in the Constructors' Championship. We're only 5 points off Mercedes, so you know, theoretically we might be able to catch up a little bit there. But let's quickly run through things like our drivers, see if there's any development points here. I've since realised that you don't have to go into their full screen, it will just say here if there's any development points. So you can just sort of scroll, move the mouse down the list and see if there's anything to spend. There isn't. Quick check in with our pit crew, what they're working on. Front and rear jacks at the moment, that's okay. Look at our car development, what we've got on at the moment. We've only got one sort of research project. It's not a research project, you know, development project, this front wing. So where are we on our cars? We've got version 2 of everything except suspension and front wings about to be done. We're probably still waiting for the ATR stuff to come in, are we? 7 days. Well, that'll come in before the next race. That's fine. What I might do at this point, because we're being fairly competitive, certainly to reach our season objectives, I think at this point, even though it's still, you know, not quite at the halfway mark, I'm going to start researching our car parts for next year, and that should put us in good stead for season 2. So that's all looking okay. Quick look at facilities. We're upgrading a couple of things. Got a bit of money in the bank. It'd be nice to do the design centre. We need a bit more money than we currently have. What have we got in the staff facilities? That's looking good. Operations, not too bad. If I quickly look down the drivers list, it'll give us an idea of who might sign for us next season instead of Ricciardo. And we got Leclerc, who is very good. Let's do some detailed scouting on him then, as he's open to joining us. And I suspect he's earning big money, possibly more money than we're willing to pay. I wouldn't mind someone like George Russell, who's a bit younger. Well, he's the same age as Leclerc, but I'm guessing he's maybe not on as high wages, but he's not interested in us. We don't want anyone too old. Ocon's an interesting choice. Or Gasly. I like Gasly. He's one of my Williams racers in my other save, and he's a really good driver. But Ocon in my Alpine save was really good as well. Tell you what, let's scout some of these detailed so we get their sort of salary details in there, and we're going to advance onwards. Team hub's done. Okay, are we not manufacturing that? I thought we had a manufacturing stuff going on. Oh, that's chassis. Okay, so look in the warehouse. We can see. Oh yeah, okay. So the chassis which we're currently working on, we've only got one of those. We've only got one front wing, but we are. What's the timing on that? 17 days. So we're going to need to get some manufacturing stuff going here, aren't we? We're going to need. I need 3 of these. We'll get 2 of them in time. So we'll have one on both cars and then a spare. So that's fine. Rear wing, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Already doing that. So suspension, we need 1. 50k, that's fine. There we go, we've got our ATR period back, so we can get a project going. So yes, I think I'm going to have to head into research now, and underfloor is the part of your car that has the biggest impact on performance. So we're going to do that. We're going to put quite a lot of development time to that. And testing. So we can see that's having quite a big impact on top speed and acceleration. And everything really. So good. So that'll be our starting point then for our car next season once this is researched. Do we need 6? It is quite a long project. Let's stick the. Tell you what, let's stick 5 on it. And now if we go to our current projects, let's go to our front wing design here, and we can actually edit that. We can stick the other engineer on there. So he's gone from 12 days to 11. Well, we'll cut a day off the length of that's okay. And once that front wing's done, then we'll just continue to concentrate on research for next season. Manufacturing's done. Into those cars. Which car was it? I didn't have the proper front wing. Yeah, car 2. So let's pop that one, car 2 now. Right, let's set our sponsor targets. Board confidence check-in. They have high confidence. Got a big proper breakdown in a month's time. Got some more money coming in from the board. Got about 4 million a month at the moment. That's fine. Let's get a race prep. Actually, hang on. Let's go back to that because this might be interesting. This is our sort of monthly car performance review, and we're top 16th on the grid for that top speed. I mean, we do know that other cars can accelerate to get away from us quite easily, but our cornering's not bad. On both clean and dirty air cornering, it's all right. I mean, we're getting points and doing reasonably well, so that's fine. Qualifying position 10th, I think we can do that. We can reach Q2. Finished position of 10th, sure. 12th for qualifying as well. Yeah, I think so.
We're here in legendary Silverstone, where the very first Formula One World Championship Grand Prix was held back in 1950. It's a place where every tuft of grass breathes motorsport, and the crowd are already crackling with excitement. Silverstone demands a lot of power from cars, with numerous twists and historic turns. Downforce is going to be a key factor to manage if teams want to succeed here. We're about halfway through the season now, and there's still plenty of time for everything to change.
Danny Ricciardo there telling everyone what's what.
Teams and how they tackle the rest of the year. There's nothing like a race weekend in Formula One.
Right, we've got fine weather all the way through. And we're going to switch out to Theo. Get him training up a little bit. Car parts. Let's put in our sort of practice bits and pieces. We'll keep using that ERS, that's fine. Gearbox, that looks a little bit on the edge, so we'll switch to this one. We're going to run to 18 laps. And we're going to nudge down to minimum, just to be a bit easier on all our powertrain elements. Right, the engine's done, so we'll go to the second engine. So the first ERS is done. Okay, yeah, this is all damage, isn't it? Thanks to Schumacher, we'll send him the bill. Okay, we're probably going to get grid penalties at some point for Norris then, just because he's going to have to get a new engine, new gearbox and new ERS at some point towards the end of the season. But we're ready. Let's go and manage this practice.
Wait a second, unit. Yeah, confirm.
Green light.
There's Norris as well. And what we'll do, we're just going to speed up the play now to get the setup confidence worked out, and then we'll see how close we are when we come back. So here we are, 5 out of 5 on Theo's car, 16% confidence, which isn't great, is it? So let's see if we can boost that up a little bit. Norris at 19%, very slightly better. Clearly there's something wrong with these setups at the moment. Let's reconfigure Theo's car. Everything bad except cornering, which is fairly good. Now, which way do we send this? We move stuff towards the end there. Move that up towards the end there. Cornering we'll have to get back at some point, but let's move traction over there, and then we're going to move that bar there. So okay, so we need to adjust the first view a little bit. Let's move that back in, and now the cornering has sort of come back in, not looking too bad. If we just nudge it out a little bit more. There, okay, well that's certainly quite different to our first setup, and we're going to go on to a medium set. Let's have a look at Norris's car. Everything's bad here, okay. Well, let's start with the traction first. Let's stick that up there. Then we'll start up the straights, maybe up there. Oversteer, we'll nudge up that way. Braking, we can nudge up that way. Need to bring straights back a little bit. There. Well, everything's probably as different as we can get it. See how we do on that. So when we come back, we will see how this setup works out.
There.
Okay, so I think we're getting close on Theo's car now. Here we go, 5 out of 5. How did we get? 85%. So fairly big improvement there. That's good. Let's call him in. Have a look at his car now. Good. Okay, well we can see where there's a couple of things we can amend. So let's bring that in about there. Cornering. Always a bit tricky cornering. There, because we want the traction's optimal, so we want that to be where it was. That's probably a good movement for that. We want this to be in probably somewhere about that. Maybe nudge this out slightly more. And the cornering needs to be adjusted again. Okay, let's give that a go. We won't worry about tyres, because we won't be doing the run on them this time. That'll be for P2. Here it's 60% on Norris's car, so that's not as good. Let's call him in. Okay, well, we can see a couple of things that are quite easy to do here. So let's just move on the end here so we can see. It'll make it easier to kind of pinpoint, I think, if we do that. That's great. I want to bring this in again, maybe there. With the brakes, we want to kind of move them in there. That can actually move a little bit further, that. And move that a little bit. So great, great. That could actually come in yeah, I can't get it anymore. If we bring it there. There, that could work, I think. Again, we won't worry about the tyres. We'll just let this play out now, and when we come back, we'll be going into P2. Okay, that's into P1. Not looking too bad. Head into P2. So we set up the setup for this one already. Let's just bump up the number of laps and the driving options. Dial those down a little bit. Like so. And we'll head into the session. Send them straight out.
Check. Yeah, ready to check, okay.
Right, and when we come back, we'll see how this this next setup works. Right, I think we're probably getting fairly close on car number 1 now. Give it a few seconds more to tick over to 5 out of 5. 94%.
If you give us some feedback on tools,
Now, that's pretty good. What I might end up doing then on that car is
stable. Nice one, guys.
leaving it there, but we'll see if there's any sort of anything that's obvious to really do. I mean, this one we can nudge that way. Traction's going to be difficult. Oh, we can maybe. I'll tell you what. We can maybe make stuff go that way. It's tricky, isn't it? So that needs to be adjusted now because that was optimal. I mean, I guess we'll give that a go. Maybe we'll go out medium tyres this time.
I think we've had a car run wide.
Norris is up to 80%. Okay, that's good. We've got a bit more work to do there, though. Is he coming in? Yeah. Okay, so that straights is still bad, but that's good. That's an easy one to amend. Let's push that up towards the other end of the bar now, then. These top two are optimal. And these are great, so we need to... It's going to be a little bit tricky, because... What I could do is that, and then... bring it in like this. So those two, okay, those two are moved. Let's bring that back, nudge that up, adjust that a little bit. Yeah, okay, so there's a bit of movement on those, a lot of movement on that, and we'll see how we do with that setup. So when we come back, we will find out. Hey, once again, we're getting fairly close on Ricciardo's car. Should be ticking up to 5 out of 5 at any moment. It was 94%, remember? What is it this time?
How's the balance?
97%. Okay, well I think that's probably about as close as we can get it. What I'm going to do though, I think I'm going to leave him out for the rest of his run so he can get a bit more track acclimatization there. And Norris, he was 80%. We'll see what we've been able to get him up to very shortly, hopefully. 87, okay. It's a bit like pulling teeth on car number 2, but we're getting closer. We're getting closer. A little bit of work still to do. Okay, so everything's in a... Okay, so this is the best setup we've had for everything so far, but there is still a bit of work to do. So that cornering, we kind of want to move it up towards there because we're going to have to pull that back. That's optimal. Maybe this one will, because that one's great. We can move it out a bit further. That's great. Straights, it's just a bit of a tricky one to adjust on its own because it does jumps in big chunks. So what I might do is just leave it at that and hope that we get fairly close to the pin on those top 4 bars when we come back for P3. But we're going to just leave Ricciardo out now. He's got a few more laps to do, I think. Norris is probably going to stay in the garage now, and when we come back, it's going to be P3. That's the end of P2. In a decent place, particularly in Ricciardo's car. I mean, I might send him out in a set of hards just to get a bit more track acclimatization, but I'm not going to touch the setup at this point. I think that's pretty close, so certainly close enough. And it will only do the 15 laps, but we'll put him on a set of hards. We'll just knock everything down. We've got Norris's setup ready to go, so we'll just make 18, turn everything down. We'll probably put him on a set of hards as well. I'm hoping at the end of this next run that he's going to be pretty close. So let's go into the session. We'll send out Ricciardo. Send out Norris.
Okay,
and then we'll see how we get on with car number 2 when we come back. This is the downside of sending him up front. Actually, I thought it was going to be worse now. I thought he was going to get his car smashed up. That's fine. He's on a practice run. But yeah, it brought, when it brings you back for a crash action, you fear the worst. But that was fine. He's only out for 4 or 5 more laps, I think. Norris is getting fairly close, so we'll just stick with it. I'll hoping for something in the 90s. It's possible that we've sent those bars the wrong way, though, and it's going to be even worse. But at least we'll know. If that's the case, we'll do one more. 95%. There we go.
Okay.
I'm happy.
So I'm happy as well.
Understood.
So I think all we're going to do... He's heading to the garage already. Okay. All we're going to do, we'll leave Norris out for these last few laps, get a bit more parts and track acclimatisation, and then when we come back, we shall be in qualifying. End of the practice sessions. Got both cars into a reasonable state, I think. Disappointed to only have 13 out of 14. I guess our track acclimatisation could have been higher. We're going to put our faster parts back in the car now. I don't think you get any performance decline until 30%, so I'll keep that ERS in for now. But I'm going to make that our practice gearbox, so we'll put the better gearbox in. Same over here. I think that's going to have to be our practice engine now, so we'll put this on as our qualifying and race engine. ERS, it's the only one we've got. Gearbox. Yeah, I think we'll make this our race gearbox. Otherwise it looks okay. We're going to manage the qualifying again, and I'm just going to let them run on the automatic settings, but from within the session, not just simulating it. Just because it seems to...
Yep, radio is good. Drink's good.
Managing the session seems to make them finish in a higher qualifying position over simulating. But actually there doesn't seem to be any real difference between letting them run in automatic mode and just, manually doing it. Because all you're really doing is just turning everything up to the top, which it's doing anyway in automatic mode. There's no real reason to micromanage that part. Ricardo's actually got the fastest time of our two cars at the moment. Let's just put a fresh set on there. We'd like to get to Q3 if at all possible. Still in 4 and 5, that's not too bad. We'll let it get down to about 4 minutes or so, and then we'll send them out again. Right. Hopefully have a reasonably decently clear... No, probably not. I was going to say have a slightly clear track for our fast run. We might... Well, Norris in particular may still just have clear track ahead of him. What's going on? Oh, there's a crash. Why are we seeing Ricardo? We've stopped because of it. Oh my goodness. And there's no time for another run.
There's been contact on the track.
So although we weren't involved, they did get in our way. It should be okay though. Yeah, 5th and 8th. That's alright. Could have been worse. It's interesting seeing a few grid penalties going on here. This early in the season, I expect that's to do with crash issues rather than running out of powertrain parts. We're expecting to see those probably around race 16, something like that. Alright, Danny, off you go.
Yep, radio's good, drink's good.
Lando, off you go. Flying lap. Oh, Stroll just nipping out to get in our way. Norris has got the faster time this time. Half a second behind Sainz. Or Sainz, sorry. Let's... yeah, we'll put it... We want to get into session 3, don't we? So let's put our fresh tyres on for the second run. Not looking too bad on this evidence, but I found that the AI cars can shave a lot of time off on their second run for whatever reason. More so than we do. Let's go now. Who ran wide? Ricardo.
Who's running wide there?
It was Ricardo. We already said. And Norris in 4th still, that's pretty good. Ricardo in 7th may be slightly vulnerable to dropping out in this session. I would expect Norris to make it through though. Oh no, 9th. That'll do. That'll do, Danny. So Q3 next. They've actually got a decent set of tyres. So on that basis, we'd hope to get 4th or 5th, based on how Norris has been doing so far. Let's actually send him out first this time. And then we'll send out Ricciardo. Alright, come on. I'm hoping in this view the AI cars will let you... Oh, that was a very slow lap. They were really slow laps. It was around the 128 mark before. Oof. Okay, yeah, we're going to have to go out again. Keep the same tyres on. Why were they so slow? Look at Norris in particular. Alright, let's go out again now. Alright, Lando, we're looking for a much nicer lap from you this time. Oh, he's gone up to 5th. Good, 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 good. Ricciardo up to 8th. And actually, we finished there. Good. 5th and 9th, I think that was. That's not bad at all. And Bottas has a grid penalty, so we may actually be in 8th ahead of him. Very good. Good qualifying.
The time has come to fight it out.
I mean, it's Norris's home race. I'm hoping he's going to put in a good performance here.
They're set to start this race feeling quite...
Right, so race strategy. I think we're going to go to a B. We're probably going to be doing this. It's going to be tight, but maybe we can go slightly past our pit window there. Oops, did I not update that? I don't think it matters. I didn't move anything around particularly. So car 2, I think what we'll do is the same strategy in reverse. So let's start off on... Oh, okay. Hard tyres. We'll try to keep them going to around that. That looks alright. Fuel. I think we'll pop a little bit extra in. Because we're going to be going a little bit faster. Or pushing the cars a little bit harder than the AI does. And we're going to go.
I hope I'm not tempting fate here, but there are quite a few clouds overhead as we look at the lineup on the grid. Anticipation is high, and the drivers are ready for this. The British Grand Prix. It's lights out, and away we go.
Stick with Norris. So yeah, so Ricciardo started in 8th, as we thought he probably would. We've dropped a place or 2. Ricciardo had gained a place.
Okay, well done.
So ahead of us are the Ferraris, the Red Bulls, and Hamilton. I mean, that's, I think that's probably fair enough, isn't it? It's Hamilton's home race as well, so we expect him to maybe put in a better performance here. Ricciardo dropping down is a bit unfortunate. Keeping pace with Hamilton. And the fact that we can reasonably keep pace with the likes of Mercedes is why I'm going to put all our car part stuff into research rather than development. Because I think this season's car is decent. Is at a decent point, I think. I mean, the AI may make improvements in the remainder of the season to their cars and sort of push us back a little bit. But I think our objective of the season is to finish 5th, isn't it? And we're currently 4th and catching up on Mercedes, so... yeah, I think we want to concentrate on next year's car and just have a really strong start if possible. Especially get our pace up. Our flat-out pace is pretty weak. We've overtaken Hamilton, and he's already over a second behind us now.
Seems to have been a lock-up.
Ricciardo's still down in 9th, but he's pretty close to Gasly. And we're sticking pretty close to Perez as well.
Yeah, you passed. You're through.
I mean, now we're a couple of laps in. I'm going to have to drop that down to aggressive rather than attacking.
Down now.
Yeah.
For Silverstone, it's a course with a
Just look
track
after
with a
this
lot
tyre
of
set, though. Look after
turns,
it.
little bends and corners, and we know that we're pretty competitive when it comes to cornering in this car.
Keep at it.
Oh, Ricciardo's gained a couple of spots.
And McLaren with a great overtake.
So yeah, so I think what we'll see happen is us lose a bit of distance on the straights, but there aren't that many long straights. 1.5 really. Around the corners, hopefully see us making up time on the cars ahead of us. So we're really close to Perez now. Coming down the straight, I would expect to see him pull ahead a little bit. And the corners. And we're hoping that Norris and Ricciardo can, you know, not spin out or crash in this race. It's not always their fault, of course. We've seen with Schumacher already what, you know, what
DRS enable. Okay.
opponent cars are capable of doing.
And DRS.
Oh, our DRS, is it going to help us get round Perez?
We are out of
Oh, we're so close. Coming into a bit of twisty turny bit. I think we might have overtaken Perez. No, he's got us on the inside. And there he goes. I mean, I'm not surprised that we're finishing behind, or you know, presuming we do, but I wouldn't be surprised if we finish behind the Ferraris and the Red Bulls. I'm pleased to see Ricciardo
Fantastic
overtake Hamilton
work.
as well, because you know, if we can finish higher above Mercedes in this race, it's possible we'll overtake them in the constructors as well.
We
Let's
can
actually
take
watch
a look
Ricciardo
now.
do this.
Daniel Ricciardo involved here.
Just completely outpaces him, doesn't he?
They take advantage and muscle their way through.
Ricciardo's actually got the fastest lap at the moment. God, from overtaking Perez, we're now a second behind. I think he must have forced us to brake or something when we tried to get around him, and then he came back on the inside. Because we seemed to lose a fair bit of ground on him immediately after that. We're going to have to turn the engine mode down a little bit soon. I think we're actually going to have to go to balance now. Car 2.
And confirm. Lift off.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think at this
yeah.
point we'll speed up the race a little bit until we get towards the time when cars are starting to pit and there's a bit more strategy going on.
Oh, we've had a
Up
spin.
to 4th now. Who came out? Was it Perez?
I
Is it
think there's
Albon's?
been a
There we go,
lockup.
Perez lockup. Let's actually
take a
watch
look
that
at
happen
the
because he seemed to
replay.
lose quite a
So
few
let's
places
look at
as a
this.
result of this.
There's Sergio Perez. They've locked up, but that could have been much worse.
Could be worse. Took him a while to get back onto the track though.
The team are devastated.
Christian Horner won't be happy.
Was that a lockup on the track?
Latifi lockup.
Mercedes moved up a place.
Hamilton's overtaken Ricciardo now. Oh, we're going to have to turn Danny's engine mode
I
down a little
think
bit there.
someone's run wide.
How are our tyres looking? Not too bad.
Looks
Still
like
got
there's been a
a fair
lockup.
few laps to go. Hamilton's getting a bit close to
Red Bull moved up.
Norris now. Let's go back and see what's happening here. We're quite far behind Sainz and everyone now. Or is he just overtaken us? There he goes. I mean, they've got a faster car, so
It's a race
you can't be
position
too
gained
surprised.
For Mercedes.
I think Perez will probably catch us up as well. And then we'll be down in 6th and 7th, and Hamilton will probably keep Mercedes ahead of us in the constructors then as well. We'll see what happens on the corners though. seen Perez has already caught up half a second. Although we're overtaking Hamilton now. It's the cornering, we're just pretty good at it.
Very
Oh,
good
but then
lap.
he's coming back.
McLaren gain a position.
Briefly. Oh, Ricciardo's actually overtaken Perez. Interesting.
It's a race position gained for Mercedes.
Alright, let's speed things up again for a little bit. Yeah, we're miles off the front three cars. Miles off. Although we have overtaken Hamilton
Just
again.
had a spin.
Ocon spun. No, Hamilton's back.
Red Bull gained a place.
And we've got it. Ricciardo's dropped down a position.
And McLaren with a great
Yeah,
overtake.
let's watch the
Here's
overtake.
the replay. Watch this. We're looking at Lando Norris.
Yeah, it's good. Let's go back in now. So Verstappen's pitting. We'll probably see all the cars that, well, I was going to say all the cars that are on softs. Maybe it just was Verstappen. Into hards now, so he may be on a two-pit strategy, you know, because our hard tyres are barely lasting from this point. So it'd be quite something if he got those to last to the end of the race. Oh yeah, there's a little clump now. Perez is caught right back up. I don't really know what this tyre overheating thing does. Sometimes they get severely overheated, but probably, I don't know, does it raise the chance of a crash or something terminal happening? But I've never seen tyres like blow out or anything like that. You see cars spin quite often. Maybe it causes spinning, I don't know. Oh, here comes Hamilton. On the corner though, so we probably get it back. Hamilton's actually pitting now. Okay, he was on mediums, wasn't he? I mean, we're getting our medium tyres to last quite a bit longer. What's he putting on? I presume it's going to be hard tyres. I think we're aiming to get about another 6 laps out of our medium tyres. Who's that? Perez. Where's Hamilton? Yeah, so these cars that are changing into hard tyres now, I think if they're trying to get to the end of the race on those, they're going to find that their tyres degraded below 30%, but I guess we'll see. Verstappen in particular changed his really early. Leclerc's going in now. See, cars that are changing into hard tyres now, they might find that they are.
Climbing in this lap.
They might find that they are getting to the end of the race.
It's a good
But
stint so
Verstappen and
far.
Hamilton might find it tricky. Let's see
Let's
Ricciardo's
see what
overtake.
happened there. Daniel Ricciardo involved here.
Norris is planning to keep going for quite a while on these tyres. Get a double pace. Oh wow. They took Perez quite easily.
McLaren gain a position.
And then he overtakes us again equally easily. It's probably DRS, I'd imagine.
Red Bull gained a place.
Right, so we're getting towards the pit window now for... Oh, we can probably turn up Ricciardo's engine a little bit. Push it a bit more. But we're getting towards the pit window now for car 1. Still looking for 5 laps, something like that. Ricciardo's having a pretty good race as well at the moment. I mean, obviously, as they pit, Norris and Ricciardo are going to probably, I don't even know, end up around 9th, maybe. But other cars are probably going to be pitting around us as well anyway.
Alpha Tauri gained a place.
Okay, so Ricciardo's in his pit window now, but we're still going to try and get it going, keep it going for as long as possible, really. When it gets down to about 33%, we'll book in a pit lane. Pit stop.
And McLaren with a great
Norris
overtake.
can push a little bit more. Okay, we're going to ignore the optimal pit window because we've still got a decent amount on those tyres left. Enough for another few laps anyway.
Is that a lockup?
The longer we leave it, the less problematic it will become on the hard tyres later. Right, let's pop over to Danny. What's happening over here? Because we've just passed that pit window. We're at 35%, so maybe we check. Maybe we go in at this point. Switch to our hard compounds.
So box, pit confirm.
Norris is still doing pretty well. He's in his pit window, but yeah, we keep that going for a while yet. Currently first place. It's not going to last. See how Verstappen's doing on his tyres that he changed already. He's down to 80%, and it's still only halfway through the race, so yeah, it's going to be interesting. The AI doesn't push their tyres as much as I do, so it's possible that he'll be fine. Nice feeling being in first place, even if it's not going to last. So we're the only team that hasn't pitted yet. Yeah, Ricciardo's
Daniel
off.
pit lane. Okay, copy that.
I mean, imagine the likes of Sainz are going to be absolutely fine, but it's Verstappen and Hamilton I want to keep an eye on the most for their tyres, I think. Right, let's speed it up a little bit. I was going to see where Ricciardo ends up. He again just came out in 7th, actually, which isn't bad. It's not bad at all.
I think we've had a car run wide.
Okay.
It's a spin.
I think we push one more. Maybe another one. When he goes past the pit this time, that's when I'll... No. I'll do it. We'll come out on mediums this time. See where he ends up. 6th. Well, we're 6th and 7th, so actually that's pretty much where we were before, isn't it? So that's actually not bad. It's better than I expected. Let's look at OK. Jumping back in the car for a little bit. What's going on? So Ricciardo and Norris are pretty close. You can see there that they're almost neck and neck. I don't really want to put team instructions on, but it looks like Ricciardo's getting a bit aggressive there, doesn't it? So I am actually going to say, don't fight, teammate. So I don't want them crashing, basically. Is he holding off a bit? I think he is. But Gasly's miles behind Ricciardo, so I don't think I need him to hold up the traffic or anything. We're a second behind Hamilton, but it's feeling a bit like this is just how it's going to be for the rest of the race now. Tyres-wise, Verstappen and Leclerc are getting a bit down, as is Hamilton. There's still 17 laps left. That might be alright. It might be alright. They pitted really early though. I was quite surprised by that. I'm not quite sure what the thinking was behind it either. Maybe someone can explain it to me. We're sort of dueling with Hamilton now. Let's go back. Overtaking on the straight. We've got DRS active, that's probably why. So we're now in 5th. Oh look, they're pitting. Leclerc and Verstappen are pitting again. That means Hamilton might as well again. So he's in that. Here he goes. Here he goes. So actually, oh god, that's crazy. Why are they pitting again?
McLaren gain a position.
So we should be 3rd now? How do they manage that? Hamilton's way down now. Look at that. So we're not pitting again, all being well. So I would hope that we're not going to catch the Red Bulls, but I'm hoping we can stay ahead of the Mercedes. I mean, Hamilton's not even in the points at the moment. Looking at the tyres, Russell might come in again before the end, maybe Alonso. I think the Ferraris and Red Bulls will try and stay on these tyres now, is my guess. Interesting. Interesting tactics, I'm not quite sure why. No, I'll take a 5th and 6th. Should be 3rd in the Constructors after this. So presuming it sort of ends like this. God, Ricciardo's right on my arse as well. For some reason, Sainz is 20 seconds ahead of anyone else. Did Leclerc pit twice? He did. Huh. Okay. I wonder if Perez, for instance, was to pit again. I mean, that would be good for us, obviously. Start to lap people now. Who was that we just went past? It was probably Albon. I think we were already past Latifi. Could be wrong. Alright, well let's just speed things along now for a little bit more. Things are sort of settling into a reasonable pattern now, where Gasly's so far behind us, but we're so far behind the cars ahead. Russell did pit again. So now the Mercedes... Well, Hamilton's got back to a points position.
Did somebody
I'm
spin
interested
out
to
there?
see what Perez and Sainz are going to do. About 10 laps left. When it gets to within 5 laps, we'll see out the last 5 laps in normal time. Right, let's jump back in the car now.
Sounds like a spin.
We'll watch Gasly
Let's
spin, I
take a
suppose.
closer look. Now look at this. It was the AlphaTauri driver involved.
Ooh.
And this, yes, this is where...
Who's already 17 seconds behind us. He must be well down now. Yeah, look at that. Hamilton's nearly 30 seconds behind Ricciardo. This is what happens when you pit twice. So Sainz and Perez, if it was me, I would be making those tyres last to the end of the race, but we'll see what the AI does. I presume Ricciardo's going to be okay. And Norris will be. So Ricciardo's within about half a second. Looks alright. Yeah, so presuming we can hold this now, I would be very happy with a 5 and 6 finish. Good points ahead of Mercedes. Hamilton's up to 7th now, though. Russell's still outside the points. And quite far behind Gasly. So are we the only team who didn't pit twice? I think there were others who didn't. Yeah, there are quite a few who didn't. Alpine didn't. Maybe they had a bit of a strategy where one car would pit twice and one wouldn't. It only really makes sense if tyre condition makes a big difference, but actually in this game it doesn't. They are working on it. They are working on a patch where they're going to work on the tyre deg a bit, which would be good. I'm not quite sure how that will manifest in a race. We might have to do a bit more of what Verstappen did in this race. Maybe you're changing tyres more like 50% than 30.
5 more laps.
5 laps to go. When Hamilton is so far back, I wonder if we don't push the car as hard.
Have a
Just
lift off.
try and reduce the chances of him spinning out or something, which would be pretty horrible.
Yeah, understood.
And we're not catching the Red Bulls, are we? So we could even think about doing something similar.
And big lift off.
Yeah, all good.
So Hamilton's not making up a 30-second gap, is he, over 4 laps? Hopefully just by keeping everything standard, we won't spin out or anything like that. Yeah, they're keeping those tyres, aren't they? And fair dues, because that's what I would do. It's interesting the Aston Martins have moved up a little bit. I think I did see that Joe had spun out at one point, though, which might be an issue. I do like Gasly. You often see him outperforming his teammate by quite a distance, which suggests, I presume they're in the same car, which suggests to me he is a very, very good driver. And Ocon and Alonso seem to be just that much more closely placed often. I think often Alonso's finishing above Ocon, actually. So we're scouting. We'll scout both, and we'll come to a decision. I think they're both willing to join us. I couldn't see it. It's Russell that doesn't want to join us, isn't it? I mean, if we finish above Mercedes in the Constructors, I don't know if that would change. You can also build facilities at your base that just make your team more attractive, and I guess maybe more able to get those top drivers. I mean, Hamilton is gaining, but it's not quickly enough. I think just ensuring that our tyres stay above 30% is probably more worth it. Soon to be 3 laps left. God, Ricciardo's really close.
And 3 more laps.
Might even turn into harvest just to slow him down a little bit more.
Okay, recharge on.
Understood.
I really don't want him running into the back of Norris and wiping them both out in the last couple of laps of the race. Yeah, he's dropping back a little bit now. Now he's catching up again. Honestly. Tell you what, look after your tyres a little bit more as well, eh?
Back it out. Back it out.
Understood.
Changing at the top. Verstappen's... Well, I was going to say Verstappen's working his way up to first place, but actually he's well behind. As you'd expect, as he pitted twice. It's odd that Perez, who has only pitted once, is fourth out of those sort of top two teams. Right. This is going to be second to last lap.
2 more laps.
So I think, considering it's Silverstone, that's a pretty positive result for Norris, and Hamilton in 7th would probably be a bit disappointed, but better than Russell. Was that a Haas we overtook? That was probably Schumacher. I wish it sort of said on there, if you sort of hovered over the dot on the map, that it would tell you who it was. That would be nice. In terms of other features I hope that they add at some point, there would be the ability to create your own team. I think would be really good. And maybe allied to that you could start off in F2 or F3 even. Maybe work your way up as a team as you developed your drivers and progressed financially and in terms of your headquarters. It would feel like you had a bit more to shoot for over multiple seasons. I think a problem we're going to find in this playthrough, and something I've started to find in Season 1 with Alpine as well, is that you just you get too good too quickly, which isn't terribly realistic. Like I can only imagine what it would be if you started off as a Mercedes. I'm sure you're probably close to winning the championship in your first season. But if you knew you had a few seasons to really work at getting promoted to F1 even, and really make investing in young drivers worthwhile. Like I'm investing in Theo a bit in as the reserve driver, but I know that it would probably be 5 or 6 seasons before he would be worth putting in a Car 1 or Car 2 properly. Which I don't know if I'll be sticking with this for that long. Probably not. I was thinking maybe we'd do 2 seasons and sort of see what the second season was like after this. But yeah, no, those are things that I hope they add, as well as looking at the tyre degradation and stuff as well. Sponsorships, I think, needs a bit of work as well. Like I think it works quite nicely in Motorsport Manager, where you get a choice of which sponsors to go with. You kind of have to calculate which one's worth more money to you than over other ones. So getting a bit more involved in that side of the game would be good. Here, as we've seen, all you really do is you're given sponsors, and you just kind of select what level of sponsorship you want to achieve with them. And we'll see in the close season as well, after this first season, you can, at the beginning of the season, you set up levels of sponsorship. Here we go. We're going to see Norris cross the line in a minute in 5th place. And then we'll carry on that thought about the sponsorships. There we go, 5th, and shortly to be 6th. So good race. With the sponsorships, you can set a level, so you can say you're going to invest a bit more in merchandising and get a bit more out at the end if you can afford it. That's nice to do, but it's still fairly minimal in terms of your interaction with it. So it'd be good to beef that side of things up a little bit more, I think, and maybe try and gain a bit of a financial advantage over other teams through that as well.
Cheers, guys.
Which I think probably has a bit of a minimal effect currently.
Yeah, we'll take it, mate.
But here we go. We'll fast forward now that some of the other teams are coming in. Yeah, it was a good day for McLaren.
Lando Norris can be proud. What a fantastic performance from him.
Not on the podium, but yeah, very strong performance. And we can be happy with that. 5th and 6th, not bad.
McLaren have shown some serious chops here. A good result for the team from Surrey.
I would expect to be 3rd in the Constructors now, but we'll find out. So Norris finished 5th, that's where he qualified, that's fine. Ricciardo climbed a couple of spots, which was good from him. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, Norris kind of holding steady in this 6th position, but he's made up a bit of ground on Hamilton, who's in 5th. Ricciardo's climbed a spot over Bottas, which is good. And then we look at the Constructors, we can see that, yeah, we've overtaken Mercedes now. We're 7 points clear of them, in fact. Which pretty nice. I mean, we have 0 chance of moving up beyond that, but if we can consolidate 3rd place, I think that we'd be pretty happy with that. Good XP for Norris and Theo. Big chunk coming out of the... yeah, the bonuses paid out to the drivers really minimises how much you get out of the race, but, you know. Front wing done. I mean, that's the one area where younger drivers are better, I guess, is that they're going to be less demanding in terms of their bonuses. Daniel, what do we want to increase? Yeah, we'll give you a little extra nudge in defending. Theo's got a point as well. I might give him some more accuracy. Good look at the staff, see if anyone gained anything over the weekend. Yep, we've got a race engineer who's pretty good in everything, really. Faster pit stops, and I think that's worth investing in. Look at our news. Race simulator upgrade is complete, so our drivers have effectively doubled their XP gain over having a level 1 simulator. That's good. Front wing is constructed. Should have the new front wing design coming in soon, I think. So does it mention us? Probably just says everyone's talking about McLaren. Here we go, currently P3. So the board should be pretty happy with that, right? The board watched the race at Silverstone at the weekend, and we wanted to congratulate you on exceeding our expectations brilliantly. Fantastic. Let's actually go and see what they think of us now. High confidence. In terms of the races, they're delighted with the last 5. It's been a while since they were disappointed in us. So yeah, we're exceeding our season objectives now, which is good. So we'll quick look at the car development, see where that's going. 6 days, so it's actually going to be after the next Grand Prix, probably over that weekend, in fact. That's fine. So yeah, so what we'll do is we shall leave it there. So thanks very much for joining me at Silverstone. Good finish for Team McLaren. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, then please do hit the like button on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. That'd be fantastic. And I hope to see you next time, where we're going to head to Austria and the Red Bull Ring. Bye for now.